children are our future. Train them well so they can lead the way. We must teach them never to lose the pride in who they are. So fragile, but yet so invincible.
This song was inspired. Of course, I have 3 kids of my own, and they are our future. We always say that the kids are the future. What does the future really look like? And so God impressed upon me to write into songs. I've always been a social conscious writer, not your traditional gospel artist with the Oakland song. Currently, I'm working on a project for veterans. So the One Flesh Children's Prayer Project is looking at the needs in America, specifically abduction, molestation, abuse, abandonment, all of these issues, and just putting a different frequency into the earth and saying that we have to make this a priority. The children's needs, children's concerns. And so that's what this children's project, the Children's Prayer, it's one song with 3 different versions. Pray for the Children, Children's Prayer, and the Prayer. Believe it or not, my introduction to music came, actually my mom. I don't know what prompted her to do this, but for Christmas she bought up this house organ that we had, to where you push by the numbers and it plays the chords, and you had a little music book to do that. And I can't remember any of my other brothers and sisters playing on this organ except for me. And I just fell in love with that organ. It would sit there for hours and play. Wasn't actually playing music, but you know, it's paint by numbers, so to speak. Don't know what happened to that organ, but that was my first introduction. And normally, you could probably say introduction to music for most kids either will come from, African-American kids will come from the home, church, or school. And mine was at home. And then going to school, I was introduced to the bass. And I played bass in junior high, high school, all the way up till I got to Castlemont, and was introduced to Mr. Reeder and Greg Cole. And then played drums in church. And every musician's got to start on drums in church. Got to have a drummer. So those were my earliest introduction to music.
I love you.
My earliest influence, I would say subliminally, was Chuck Webb. We grew up in Metropolitan Church of God in Christ. Pastor Charles H. Webb, and Chuck Webb is just a renowned, phenomenal, incredible organist, and went on to influence many of the Bay Area musicians we have now. And my dad was a minister there, so we had to go to church whether we wanted to. Tuesday night, Friday night, all day Sunday, choir rehearsal. So even as a kid, subliminally, I'm taking in this guy's playing constantly. And I know that had a subliminal effect on me. I couldn't play, but just getting into my spirit, that music. And so then I went on to be introduced formally by Phil Reeder. The Castaliers, that famed group, called me aside one day. I was playing basketball. I wanted to be a basketball star. And he heard me play and say, "What are you going to do with your music?" And I didn't know what in the heck he was talking about. Music. And it's like, I'm not a musician. And he saw talent in me. And well, that's told me, whatever you put into this, you'll get back out of it. And so I took that journey. Then, of course, Greg Cole, I'm just calling out some names. Miss Phillips in junior high school, Miss Parker, Reverend Righteous John Fallard was my first gospel music teacher. James Mitchell, Robin Hodges, Greg Pickens. My uncle Ricky Sanders, believe it or not, had an incredible album collection and would just sit there all day long playing various genres, various styles of music, and I know that had an impact on my life. And last but not least, Joel Jackson was a great friend of my dad. They were childhood buddies growing up, and Jewel gave me the philosophy of music. He didn't play an instrument, but he gave me the psychology of music as a musician, how to conduct myself, and he had sang with Edwin Hawkins singers, and Jewel would sit me down and mentor me and talk to me for hours and say, man, you know what, if you get 28, 25, and this music thing ain't happening, get you a day job. That was the best advice Jewel gave me, so I made it. Once I got put the basketball down, my dedication to music was whatever I did, I just did it with my whole heart. And once I saw that basketball wasn't going nowhere, I was probably 6'2" when I was in middle school. So I thought I would be the next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And once I saw that wasn't happening, I put the basketball down, picked up music, and man, I would shut in at the church and just practice for hours. Literally, overnight, all night long, practicing scales, chords, and I actually taught myself music theory and how to read. My formal, they taught me, gospel, how to play in the church, but as far as reading and theory, I would go to the store and pick up books and taught myself how to read. As an amateur musician, my introduction was playing in the church as a church organist. When I got up the nerve to finally take on the responsibility to play for my dad, church, that was not a paid gig, but it was paying my dues there. And then I would play in different R&B bands around the Bay Area, and we wore costumes. We did whatever we had to do to entertain our audience. And I got tired of the nightlife, smoke-filled rooms and alcohol and the women. I said, there's got to be a better way to make a living than going around playing till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So I started a group, a gospel group, and started playing formally for different churches around the Bay Area. And the rest is history.
I love you. I love you. I love you, Lord, today because you care for me in such a special way. And yes, I'll praise you. I'll lift you up. I'll magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise, with praise. That's why my heart is filled with praise. That's why my heart is filled with
Well, I made a commitment to dedicate myself to Christ. I had been exposed to the Baptist denomination, grew up Church God in Christ, and then had opportunity to work for a Seventh-day Adventist. You have all of these different doctrines theologically. I embraced them all because they all had nuggets of the truth in it. And after making that commitment, I decided to start a gospel group. I started writing songs, and I needed a vehicle to get my songs out. And a group sounded like the most logical process. So I started writing, and I saw in the music industry, the artists didn't make a lot of money. The musicians didn't make a lot of money. A lot of money was made with songwriters and the publishers. So I started writing, and my group was the vehicle for that.